Welcome to this training. My name is Olufemi Abraham from Nigeria. It's a pleasure to be here and it's a great privilege. So today we want to talk about how we can make use of stones, how we can make use of slings, how we can make use of catapult to kill a warrior. How we can make use of this in a real life battle. How we can make use of it to kill Goliath. Many of us do have dreams. Many of us do have visions God has given to us, and we always want it to come out as we have been sent by the Lord. But most time we are being constrained, probably because of limited resources, because of the equipment we are to use not available, or those who know how to use it, those equipments are not available to use that, and in the process delays the message the Lord is sending through you. So reminiscence of David, bro David, who had such device with him, a particular device with him, and the device is just the stones in his hand and the sling in his hand. He was able to use that crude, that unexpected device to fight Goliath. He wasn't waiting for the king's hammer. He wasn't waiting for Saul's hammer, which he has not tried before, to deliver the message which the Lord wants to use him for. He was able to make use what he has and what he has tried before, and to achieve what the Lord has sent him to do. So the same thing is applicable to us. What is that thing in our hand? Oh, in modern days, the smartphone is the device that is very common with everyone. It's a device that you cannot do without. Every moment, every minute, every 10 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, you will always have to make use of the smartphone. We know it's meant for communication. We can also use it to achieve what the Lord has laid in your heart as a filmmaker. Come along with me as we look into how we can make good use of the smartphone to make movies. God bless you. Right. First of all, let's talk about the evolution of the smartphone. In 1973, we had the first cell phone, which was invented by Motorola through Martin Cooper. 1984, the first portable mobile device, which was debuted and was named Dynatax 8000X, was produced. This device was very chunky and it was weighty, it was heavy, to the extent that it was nicknamed the Brick. It has a battery life of about 30 minutes. In 1992, the IBM announced the first smartphone, which is called Simon Personal Communicator SPC, and it has about 1 hour battery life. In 1999, Ericsson made a prototype device, and they were the first to coin the term smartphone. In other words, the word smartphone was first used by Ericsson Company to describe their phone. In the year 2000, there was the invention of the first camera phone, Sharp, introduced to the world the wonders of camera phone, and it was the JSH04. But in 2007, Apple takes a bite of the smartphone markets. It was Steve Jobs' game-changing smartphone, and that was the first iPhone. In the year 2008, we had the first Android smartphone, which was the HTC Dream, with the collaboration between HTC and Google. A very important face in this collaboration is the man called Andy Ruby, and that's why we call it Android. Andy, Android. How to shoot quality video with your smartphone. First, set the phone on airplane mode or flight mode. This is to avoid interference, electromagnetic interference from phones, tablets, Bluetooth, earphone, headphones, and the rest. And also, this is also going to avoid unnecessary notifications while you are busy shooting. Minimize your phone and clear every background app so that your phone will have optimum performance. Get a soft cloth like this or wipes and clean the lens of your camera. This is so because the smartphone is an all-in-one device that you carry about from one place to the other. Your hand must have touched the lens. There will be fingerprint stain. There could be dirt on the lens, and this will affect the quality and the look of the picture that you see when you start shooting. If you know you'll be using your phone to shoot, it's advisable to always put it in a pouch, in a casing like this. Always have a casing for it, so that a protective casing, so that the lens also can be a little bit protected. You see the lens here, it's a little bit inward, so that will protect it against scratches. To protect it against scratches. So make sure you get a protective case for your phone and get an external microphone. Connect an external microphone to your phone. Although your phone comes with internal microphone, they are very tiny. Some phone comes with 1 or 2 or 3 internal microphone. It may not be as good as an external microphone. For instance, this is the exact mindset of phone manufacturers. The phones are made first for the consumption of the majority of the customers, which is to make calls and not to make films. Don't get me wrong. You can make use of internal microphone of your phone in some instances, but it may not be as good as the usual external microphone. Also, these days, the exclusion of headphone jack in the recent modern phones is an indication that manufacturers of phones have different targets from a filmmaker's perspective. Hence, we must find solution to this limiting factor. Types of external microphone solution for smartphones. First, we have the plug and play clip-on wireless lapel mic. We also have 3.5mm wired lapel mic, omnidirectional. When I say omnidirectional, it means that whether you are in front, whether you are behind, or on the both sides of the microphone, it records the signal with equal strength. Omnidirectional microphones are microphones that pick up sound and equal gain from all sides or direction, while the unidirectional microphone, also referred to as the directional microphones, pick up sound from one direction only. Thirdly, we also have the boom mic, just like the one I am using now. Now, most of the boom mic comes with what we call the TRS jack plug, which is only usable for the camera. By the time you insert it in your phone, it will be useless. It will not function. So the solution is you get a TRS mini jack adapter before you can apply to be used on your phone. Another good solution is the usage of XLR preamps with phantom power microphone. Preamplifier, that is preamps, serve two main purposes. They provide the correct load impedance for the microphone's outputs and then take the incoming signal from the microphone and boost it to a usable level. Currently, I am using the Saramonic preamp attached to my phone to record this production. The fifth one is making use of a multi-track Zoom recorder. You can get a handy one, portable one that is being used professionally for video production. Then you will have to have the audio is recorded into a card separately where you will sync in post while you are editing. The first four options I have mentioned will record directly into your video, but if you want to do it a little bit more professionally, you can connect the microphone to an optional or a dedicated phone for audio recording. Then you sync later in post, especially if you don't have the budget for a professional multi-track Zoom recorder. Another smart move is recording separately into a phone. You can also record into a phone directly without connecting any external microphone by placing the phone close to the actor, or you use the phone as props while it is carefully positioned. It's always said that audio is key in movie making, where people can manage a bad picture, but people will not forgive a bad audio. So it's very good, it's always better to invest on audio so that people can hear the message clearly. Currently, everything you are watching now is shot with a phone. I'm using two cameras. I am using two phones, which I call Cam A and the Cam B here. They are both phones and they are being set up. So what you are seeing, the picture quality you are seeing, is directly from these two phones. I attach quite a number of things that you may not even know is possible to these two phones. One, on my Cam A, I've attached a hard disk to this phone because the internal memory storage of the phone is low. So I had to attach a 2 terabyte hard disk to the phone directly. So I'm recording directly on the hard disk. And also on the Cam B, I was having issues of monitoring because it was looking blurry and it wasn't looking nice. You wouldn't like what you will see. So I attach a HDMI connector adapter. I connected that to a screen, a monitor over there. I connected that to a monitor over there, and I connected the audio, my audio here directly, connecting it to from a preamp made for phone, using an XLR cable over there, attached to a boom mic. Can you see this low-cost boom mic attached? What I'm using here to get an improved audio. This is how it will sound when I use this mic, and this is how it will sound when I'm not using audio. Exactly what we are listening to now, that is how it sounds when I'm using the phone directly. I have my fan on here, and you wouldn't hear the noise has been cancelled through this setup, my audio setup here. Composition is a fancy term that is used to describe what is placed on the frame and where it is located on the frame. You can also find this very helpful if you go to the setting of your default camera app or whatever camera app you are using. You will see something called the grid lines. You see the box being drawn like you are seeing on my screen now. You see the grid line drawn on my screen now. This is going to be of a great help in composing your shots and having very interesting shots. Those lines are not for decoration, they are deliberately put there to guide you. Scientifically, it has been proven that the human eye are naturally drawn to these 4 intersecting points that you see on the screen. So we most of the time place the subject on the intersections on those points that I have just shown you. For instance, you can place like this. You can place subjects this way at this intersection to make your shot to be interesting. You can also place this way. So we place the subject in the middle, the way you are seeing me on the screen now, especially when you want to depict dominance, and also when you are having a tutorial or a training like this, because the focus will be on this person speaking, is the one speaking, is the one dominating, is the one in charge, is in the middle, and we place the speaker in the middle of the frame. In movies, when you place someone in the middle of the frame like that, you want to show authority and dominance. I must confess, a good knowledge of cinematography is going to help you to make your shots taken with your phone to be interesting and to look professional and to be acceptable and to be appealing to people. They want to watch what you have shot, and nobody will know whether it's shot with a phone. It's also advisable to set the screen brightness of your phone to maximum before you start shooting. If you have turned down the screen brightness, your shot could appear darker than it really is. An important thing to think about is that you should have more than one object on the frames, as this will create more depth in your shots. If you, for example, film one person in front of a white wall, of a plain wall, the shot will be one-dimensional and can appear to be a bit dull. Now look at this, my shot here. Look at my shot here. You will see first centralized, I'm in the middle. If you look at the back, you see some things hang around at my back. It is deliberate, it's not by accident. I deliberately placed those things there to create depth, and also I used lighting. I put another light at the back. Can you see the light there? With another color, with like the blue color, bluish looking color, to help me enhance depth. And also I left some gap between me and those objects at the back. If I am very close to the wall, it will look so ordinary and the depth will not be meaningful. But moving some feet forward, moving some feet away from the wall also enhances the depth. If you look at it, this is a phone and you are seeing it looking a little bit blurry. It's a phone. It's all about your expertise. If you know what to do to achieve what you need to achieve. So I've used a lot of things. My shot is not just ordinary. I put some consideration into composing this shot and making it to look the way. I didn't just point the camera and automatically look like this. I thought of using lighting. I thought of moving away from the background, not being close to the wall. And also there is something we call dead frames. You see, there won't be anything at the back. If there's nothing at the back, I'm just facing the wall and no other object at the back that will give meaning. And you see the stand there, and also see the phone cage, camera cage there. See the stand there. See the guitar there, deliberately placed there, because I don't want that side to be dead when nothing is placed there, just to occupy to keep the background busy and to make it look interesting. To shoot quality video with your smartphone, you need to invest on lighting. There are two things that are the major problem of shooting with smartphone. First, lighting. Second, audio. You look at this, my shots. I have tried to use some light to achieve this. I didn't just, bring out my phone, point and shoot. If I remove the light that I have with me here, it will not look as interesting as it is. I have a light up here. I have one down here. I have one at the back. I have another one there. I have practical lighting. I have practical lighting, those bulb, that's home light, domestic light over there. at the back. So lighting is very important. If I don't place those lights there, there is something you will see that is very common with phones. We call it noise. You see some small dots on the screen. It has been reduced because of the lighting I was able to put there. Some places will look so dark if I don't put all those small lights there. Why? Because the sensor on the camera of the phone is so tiny, so small as compared to a standard professional camera. So you need a lot of lights when you want to shoot a good video with your smartphone. So I have different apps in my folder here. I have Motion Cam Pro, MC Pro, 24 FPS, the default app that comes with my phone, and I have Open Camera and Super 16. But now we'll be using the camera that comes with my phone. I use LG V60. So whatever phone you are having with you, you can use the normal app that comes with your phone to experiment. So let's go there. So when I get to my to the UI, the user interface of my phone, it will take me to the photo. So I'll be switching to video. So switch to video. Okay, so I'm on video. Let me try to set this because it's not looking too good. How to set this is just the automatic, and if you set it, I'm tapping on the screen now. You see those circular icon symbols you see there, and you see the slider by the right. This is the slider. I can use it to reduce the exposure here. Can you see? I can reduce the exposure, increase the exposure, and reduce it. You can see here now. So then I can put on extra light if I wanted to make it look a little bit better. Then I can lock. Okay, so for my phone, when I tap and hold, it will lock. So I can slide it to reduce the exposure to my taste for whatever I want. So I'm trying to lock the exposure. It's been locked. The auto focus and the AE is auto exposure, and the AF is auto focus has been locked. So it has focused on my face. So it's been locked. Let's go straight to the setting. So down to the bottom left is an icon, the setting icon to the bottom left. So for your phone, look for that setting icon. For iPhones, you may not see setting icon on the user interface of your camera. That's one odd thing about iPhone. So you need to go to setting properly and look for camera roll and see some settings there. So, but for now, anywhere you find yourself, whether iPhone or Android, just look for settings, click on settings. Now, what we'll be having on your phone may not be the same with mine, but those are the things, the following are the things you are to look for. Look for video resolution. So I have different video resolutions here for my phone. I have, but the one we are focusing on here is, you will see 16:9 Full HD, that is FHD, Full HD, 1920 by 1080. That is that is the resolution that most of those videos you watch online on YouTube and all those, you always see. Those are the standard resolution that is recommended generally. That is the most acceptable, and most deliveries of work end up being in Full HD. So I would advise that if you want to shoot, don't go lower than Full HD, 1920 by 1080. That is the resolution. In some phones, it will not be written together like mine, like 16:9. You will see another icon as aspect ratio. So when you see the aspect ratio, you will see 16:9, 1:1. You see 21:9 or something of that nature. I've seen work that I've done for me to edit. I discovered that the aspect ratios were not the same. the video footage sent to me were not the same. Some were on 16:9, some were on 21:9. I had to be, converting it to 16:9 to make everything to be uniform. So when you are shooting with your phone, make sure you set the aspect ratio to 16:9 if you want 16:9 all through. So I advise you to always use 16:9 if you don't know how to use other aspect ratio. You use those one by one, or those like one by one for Facebook, for Instagram, TikTok, or something of that nature. But 16:9 is the one we use for movie mostly. So FHD means full HD. And the next one I'll be talking about is the one up here. You see 16:9 4K 3840 by 2160. So that is the resolution that we call 4K. They also call that one UHD, which means Ultra HD. So that's Ultra High Definition Video. And that is a better resolution than Full HD. I will advise you to shoot on 4K if you don't mind the space. If you have enough space on your phone to take it, it gives a little bit better quality when you shoot on 4K. But if you are not the one editing and you are sending to people, it will take more space. If you are sending online and the person you are sending to is find difficult to have enough data, you will spend more for the editor to download. You have to spend more money to download, and it will take more time for him to render, to process. But at the end of the day, it will give you better quality. So provided it's going to give you better quality, you should be ready to spend more money and to get better quality. But the full HD is not bad. It's very good. It's very good. Most of the time when we shoot in 4K, we always downgrade it to full HD for final delivery. But the 4K always give us the leverage and flexibility in post-production. But at the normal mode, we didn't see that. There wasn't anything of that nature. So that is the limitation we have with the Sony Pro mode. You have more offers. Now here I can also set frame rate. Now this is very, very important. Please, it's very important. You must set your frame rates. You see, most of the default app, the normal video, the automatic, some of them may just set you to 30 FPS and you may not have any other option. Some phones do have, but for this Pro mode, you will have the liberty to choose whatever you like, not the one that you are forced to. Not the one you are forced to use. So this, we have 1 FPS, 2 FPS, 24 FPS, 30, 60 FPS, and so on and so forth. We can have up to 120, 240, 480. If I change it to another resolution, I will have more FPS. For instance, let me come to Full HD here. Let's check. You see now I have more. Now I have 60, 120 FPS, 240. So the higher the number, the more you can have slow motion. So slow motion start from this. You can have smooth slow motions from 60 FPS, 120, and 240. And the normal video for general content is 30 FPS. But for filmmaking, we use 24. Please take note of that. For filmmaking, for shooting movie, to make it look cinematic, we use 24 frames per second FPS. So that is what you should use for movie. It helps in the motion blur. It's the natural blur your eyes can see when you shake moving your hand this way, because of the natural blur. So after that, if you see something like this, bitrate, this is very, very important. I use this a lot. You see, this is, you will see high, medium, and low. The higher it is, the better the quality. So that's why you see I have clicked high, so that I will have improved quality. because of improved quality. Even though at this, even the high that I have here, it could be around only 40 MPS. That bitrate you see is only 40 because it is a default app. If I go, when we get to the professional app, I always achieve more than that. I have achieved up to 160 megabytes per seconds, which will give you much more higher quality. And when you match it, put it side by side with a camera, you won't know the difference. It will look as good as a camera. So, but with your default app that comes with your phone could be limited. Like this one is limited for 4K to 40 megabytes per seconds, and my 8K I think is around 60 megabytes per seconds. But when I get into the professional app, I achieve 160. So I can work on the quality so much. So we have i5, record the video with high quality sound. I've activated that. If your phone has, you can activate it. HDR10, this one enhances color and contrast, make it more to look more vivid, but it may not work on some devices. So forget about the HDR10. You may not use that. You may not need that. You may not need that. So don't touch anything HDR10 plus. This is we have HDR10 and we have HDR10 plus. So not every phone we have it. It's only some high-end phone that has HDR10 plus. So you don't touch it, just leave it, except if you have an editor who is editing and instruct you to, because it may not even play on the system if it doesn't have the capacity for it. So leave that HDR10 plus. But most of the time it gives you a enhanced color and enhanced contrast. But when you are watching it, it may look as if it is looking flat. But by the time they finish editing, it will come out so beautifully. So let me deactivate the HDR10. So that will now lead you to something. When you see something like HEVC, this allows you to have a smaller size of file, especially when you are shooting on 4K. Naturally, automatically, it will set it on HEVC. That HEVC means high efficiency video codec. Manually. Now grid, this one is the one that you really need. It's going to guide us. So activate the grid. It will give you the grid lines, some lines on the screen. I will show you very soon. Storage. Now you have two options here. You have the SD card and the internal storage. Now the SD card, most of the SD card we buy, we may not know how to buy SD card for filming. There's some SD card that are of higher quality. If you use an ordinary SD card, if you are shooting 4K, it will, your phone, the camera, and the camera may misbehave, because the write speed of those SD card we are using may be very, very low. There is something we call write speed and reading speed. They are very low. So when you are shooting something of higher resolution, it's somehow it makes the camera to misbehave. So I will advise you to use your internal storage. If it's filled up, you can copy to your external take time to copy to the SD card later. But original writing of the video, let it write into your external storage, because it's always of a higher quality writing speed, a faster writing speed, the internal storage. Except you know how to buy quality SD card that has a very fast writing speed, very, very fast one. Okay, now let's move from the normal video to the manual video, or the pro mode, pro video. I have a special guest here, and that's Sister Joy. She's my baby's toy, and she's one of our converts. She used to preach to them in the room, and she rechristened our Sister Joy. The Bible says, if we refuse to preach the gospel, it said the stones will rise up and preach. So the children can be very encouraging at times. They can challenge us to do the work of the Father. So we are now on the manual video, or what we call the pro video, depending on the name or the nomenclature your phone gives to it. Here we have quite a number of settings. we can set on our own. Not the other one we did was the normal mode, where the camera is the one that decides what we do. We only have little we can do, but here we have the full control manual setting, or we call it professional mode. Here from the top, I have this setting. The shutter speed is the first one. Next to that, I have the ISO. Next to that, I have the autofocus, AF. And lastly, we have the white balance, or in some phones is called temperature. So let's talk about the shutter speed first. The shutter speed has to work together with your FPS, frame per seconds. So in the setting where we have set earlier, you will have set your FPS to 24. I told us for movie, you use 24. For normal content, you use 30. For slow motion, you use 60, 120, 240, and so on. So for movie, you are to set your FPS, frame per seconds, to 24. So this shutter speed, there is something we call the 180-degree rule, whereby whatever your FPS is, the shutter speed will be double. If our FPS is in 24, then our shutter speed, we will set it to 48, 1/48. That is 1/48. 1/48. So that will be your shutter speed. That is the professional setting, following the 180-degree rule. So FPS must be, your shutter speed must be double your FPS. Shutter speed must be double your FPS. So for movie, 24 FPS, shutter speed now will be 1/48. Now, sometimes you may not be able to achieve 48. It could be 50. So if you cannot achieve 48, put it on 50. Between 48 and 50, it will be good. Okay, that is that about shutter speed. If you slide it up or down, when it comes down to 1/28, 1/30, you see that it will be looking brighter. And if you set it and slide it up, you begin to see 1/1000, 1/2000, 1/1. When you see that kind, it will be looking darker and darker. So when you set 1/48 in accordance with your FPS, it allows you to have motion blur that is close to what you see with your naked eyes. Okay, that's that. So let's go to the ISO. The ISO here is the sensitivity to light. For phone, because of the small sensor, the best ISO setting is 50. We always set it as low, the lowest ISO you have. Like some iPhones, some phones have lower than 50. So you can set it to the lowest point. But if your own is not lower than 50, just set it on 50, will be safe. But if when you set it to the lowest ISO, make sure that you have enough lighting around you to light. You will need a lot of light. But if you don't have enough light, then you can slide it up, between 50 and 400. If you go above 400, it will be so grainy, so noisy. You see those dots appearing there, those little dots. So you can set it to 100, 200, or 300 if you don't have enough light. But don't go beyond 400. So the safe area is between 50 and 200. In a situation whereby you still need, you can still use 300 and 400. But the safe area is between 50 and 200. And that's that. All right. So this is manual focus again. So we also have what we call focus picking. It depends on the phone, but for this phone, it has this function up there for focus picking. That is where I want to know, you will see a particular grain green highlights of the objects or the one at the background, it will be highlighted green to let us know what is in focus. So I'm going to move the slider to focus. I am focusing at the background, and you see the background is being highlighted. Then if I want to focus on Sister Joy, our guest for today, I will slide it until when Sister Joy is highlighted green. Can you see that Sister Joy is highlighted green? Can you see that now? So it means Sister Joy is in focus and the background is defocused. Do you get that now? So that's what we see, all this rack focus we see on standard camera. So that's how we do it. We can do it with phone. I want to defocus Sister Joy and focus on the background. The Sister Joy is not, you are not seeing the highlight, the green highlight on Sister Joy any longer, but on the screen, which means the screen is in focus and Sister Joy is disfocused. Now let's focus on Sister Joy. Slide it again. Sister Joy is on focus and the background is defocused. So that is how you nail your focus with your phone. Because the sensor of the phone is very tiny, you have to move the object very close to the camera for you to be able to see that blurry background. But standard camera have different lenses where this will naturally just be created. Now we are on white balance. Simply, in a simple term, making your white to be white. When you look at the white with your eye, the way it is when you're looking at it straight physically, you try to make the white look real like it is naturally on the screen. You try to adjust until that white is white. The same, almost the same or the same with your white. So you're clicking on your white balance. On some phone, it is written as temperature, while on some phone it's written as white balance. Here on my phone, it's you will see some figures, some numbers to indicate different levels of white balance. You will see 3000, 2000 and the likes with K at the back. That K means Kelvin, which is the unit of measurement for that white balance. So when you come from maybe 2000, 3000, 4000, we say it is cool. While at the other end, like 5006, 5000 this, 5000 that, we say it is warm. So when it is warm, it has that yellowish look and it is daylight. And when it is that bluish, it's said to be cool. Said to be cool. So you need to move the slider or set the number to the white balance that matches what you are seeing in your environment before you start shooting. If you don't do that, the phone will be doing it automatically and it will be changing the white balance. It can look a little bit bluish. It can look at the same time on the same shot. When you move it, it can look, can change the color to yellowish, and it will be changing and it will look inconsistent, and automatically it will be glaring that the person handling this phone is not a professional. You didn't lock your white balance. So that's the reason why you need to set the white balance. So if you're not very careful, the white balance, if you have not locked it, or generally you have not locked the video, when you move the camera, you will see it's changing. Sometimes it can look cool, bluish, or look warm. It look a little bit yellowish, and within a short interval, when you move the camera, it will be changing from bluish looking to yellowish looking, and that is when your white balance is not locked. So it's not always good for filming. So if you set it manually, it will stay, or you lock the way I taught you with the default camera. Just lock it. Everything is locked to a certain position. You will see on your phone quite a number of zooming functions: 1x, 2x, 3x, 5x, 10, 30, 50x, and so on, especially on Samsung phone. You can use that for your picnic or vacation, holiday, or some minor content you do. But when it comes to filming with your mobile, you don't zoom. Don't use those zoom numbers. If you want to capture an object, you rather move closer to that object, or you use an external lens. I'm going to show you us some lenses that you can purchase. I mean, how it's going to look like. The ones I have here are cheap ones, but they can get the job done. They are better quality lenses. Some of them can be so pricey, and some of them can be as costly as some phones, but they can get the job done and give you a better look. Let me show you some of the lenses that I have with me here. Now, instead of using the 2x on the phone, you can use an external lens like this. Let me adjust the zoom so that you can see this lens very well. You see the lens? This is 2x telephoto lens. 2x telephoto lens. Alright. Now I have a CPL filter on it. I use that to reduce flares, like flares on my glasses, flares from light and all that. Lens on. Autofocus. And you see the difference now. So if I want to really take a very close shot, you see the difference. Instead of me moving, zooming on the UI, I use an external lens, and it's giving me this look, a very tight shot, very close shot. You can see the effect it can create, and you can see the quality. So you can also get lens like this to give you good quality. This is a very cheap one. I bought this at AliExpress, Apaxel 2x telephoto lens, and way back 2-3 years ago. And there are better lenses than this even today. Moments and other companies like that for iPhone and Android. So another very important attachment that we also use with our smartphone to make it look professional is what we call the filter, CPL filter. Sometimes when the exposure is too high, probably when you are outside in the afternoon, the sun is so high and everything is just the exposure is just too high, and you've lowered the ISO to the lowest, probably on 50, and every other thing you've done, yet everything in the exposure is too high and so high, and you don't want to tamper with the shutter speed because you want it to follow the 180-degree rule. Then you can make use of filter. This is a filter. This is a 49mm filter. It can be used for a 50mm lens on a standard camera. Let me focus so that you can see this properly. Can you see that? You can see it's written on it ND. I think that should be ND4. Now I'm going to create a scenario as if we are exterior in the afternoon and the sun is so high. It's going to look like something like this. Let's just put it this way. And it's so high after you have adjusted, after adjusting your settings, your ISO to the lowest, yet it's too bright and you want it to be controlled, and you don't want to tamper with the shutter speed. You want it to follow the 180-degree rule. Then you bring out a filter like this. Let's see what this can do. Wow, can you see the difference? So that's what CPL filter can do. You can purchase that, you can go to Amazon, you can go to eBay, AliExpress, or whatever that is convenient, online shopping that is convenient for you. You can get that from those stores. So that is CPL filter. If I put another one, this is ND8. So let's see what's the difference that you will see with this. Definitely this will be darker than the first one. Can you see? So it all depends. The brighter the higher the brightness, the higher you go with the number. If it is not too bright, you use ND2. If it's brighter than that, you can use ND4. You can move to ND8. There is 16 and 32 also, depending on what you have with you. Okay, so this is another app called the Filmic Pro. You can have this on the iPhone and on Android. It's on both platforms, Filmic Pro. So it's also the same thing. Some of the things we have talked about, if you look at it, you see ISO. You see the way that number ISO, can you see the way it's changing? So when you put it on auto, that is how everything will be changing. It will be controlling you. You are not the one controlling the camera. Can you see? That is why auto is bad. It will be changing ISO, changing your temperature on its own. So what I do is that you click on ISO, so that you slide to what you want. Maybe you want 50. Can you see that? So, and you see that you see the padlock symbol is locked, and it's on 180-degree rule. Is already on 148, which is the 180-degree rule I taught us the other time. You see it here. You see 148. Let me put it here. You see 148, 180. So when you want to follow the 180-degree rule, you see it now. It's written 180-degree. So you go to the settings, which we set video and frame rates. You see the frame rate here. Frame rate is here. You click 24. So after clicking 24, you are sure that your shutter speed should be 48. So that's why you see 148, 180. You see it here. So I have with me here, I have open camera. I'm not sure whether there's open camera on I don't know, on iPhone, but I'm not sure that it's on Android. So this is open camera. It can be used to shoot, and there's quite a number of settings which will not be able to go into. So the same thing, when you get to another camera app, you see full HD. Can you see the UI is different from the default camera app? But look at how it's looking like here. You see the full HD. So you just know when you click, when you see something like you can relate with what you are seeing. Video resolution 1920 by 1080. If I click this the arrow in front, I will see more options. I can see more options which I can change it to. So this is 4K that I was talking about. Is now on 4K. The way it's represent its own, show its own may be different. White balance also is different here. It's auto, manual. This is manual. If you put it on manual, this is what I was going to show on open camera. So this is the ISO showing here. You can just slide it down, or you click the number 50 ISO, 100, 200, and so on. So when you see it, you relate. I think this should be the white balance also. Yes, this is white balance button. This is white balance button here. Can you see the number is changing? Can you see now? Number is changing here from one white Kelvin value to the other. And also I think this should be for focus. Oh, this should be okay. This should be shutter speed. When you see something over something, you can say 1/200. This is the shutter speed. This is shutter speed. So you can see those manual settings. And also I have MC Pro 24. I have MC Pro 24 here.
This is what I use mostly. It's a very professional app. You see it at the left side. You see the ISO here. Very simple. You see the FPS. I mean the shutter speed is here with this plus and minus. You can always relate when you see them. Then we click this icon, you will see the resolution, and click whatever resolution, you slide it up or down. Then FPS, you slide it up or down for the desired, and you click apply. So there are quite a number of things here to be different. Default app and others. I can shoot in 10 bits which most of them cannot shoot in. The bit rate here that we saw, like the highest there was 60. Here I can have up to 160 megabyte per second. You can see that's very, very high. So the quality will be high by the time I am done with it. I have different log formats here. Will make me to be able to work on the colors, impose, not even have, and so on and so forth. So that's for another class, so that I won't confuse what we have done so far. And this is the last one. This is the Motion Cam Pro. This is the one I've been using to shoot from the beginning. It's a very high professional app, very, very high. It shoots raw, but we can also relate when you see the UI. You see the exposure here. This is the shutter speed, and this is how you move it up and down to whatever you desire. You can see the ISO here. You can adjust here. So any app you are using, you will easily relate. Just look for those major things. Focus here. You can see focus. You can slide it up to focus. You can even tap. Let me invite Sister Joy. You can tap to focus on Sister Joy. Can you see? And it has focused on Sister Joy. And also the temperature. You can move it. You can slide it up and down and so on and so on. That's 10 bits also. 160 megabytes per second. I can achieve that. I can import lots and log. Those professional things you see, functions you see on professional cameras are here. That is for another. If you try some of these apps, they are so way too heavy. Your phone may, they may crash if your phone is not powerful enough. So don't try it if you are not sure about it. Don't try it if you are not sure about it, because they are very, very power consuming and they take a lot of memory. This I always have to use an external storage of 1 terabyte to be able to record on this, because they are so power hungry and storage hungry. They consume storage a lot. So for it to be able to record, this is Type C. If you have Type C and your phone has the capacity, you can use those Pro app. You can use those Pro app to do that. So. So I personally don't use this camera app, the default camera app, because of some limitations. I don't actually use it. I think this is one of them, except for minor. When I want to shoot movies, I don't use this to shoot movies personally because of some limitations. But if you know you can't bear the complexity of those apps, how to set this and that, this is a simple way that you can start with. You can start with this. Over time, you will get how to set those other apps. So let's go with this. One of the limitations I have here is, if you look at the back, my back there, you see the room, the practical light, the home lights. You will see it at the back. You see it flickering. You can see it flickering. Whereas when I used the professional app that I was using before, you didn't see that. Why? Because there were other buttons that I can slide down. I can adjust my shutter speed, ISO, and the rest appropriately until that disappear.
Also, I'm using the front cameras. So when you are shooting movie with your smartphone, you don't use you don't use the front camera because the lens in the front is always of a lower quality. You use the main lens, not the wide lens, so super wide, the main lens at the back, not even the telephoto. All those lenses are not as quality as the main lens. For anything you want to do, I use the main lens basically because that's higher quality. I adapt the main lens to whatever I want to do. All right, so I just believe that with these little stones and sling of mine, I hope I've been able to kill Goliath. I've been able to pass some information across to us that will encourage us, that will make us to be better filmmaker with what we have with ourselves. You have no excuse. You can just go and with your phone, when the camera is not there, you are non-stop, you are unstoppable. Anywhere you find yourself, in the park, while you travel, and the script comes to your head, and you have the opportunity of being in a very good environment that suits the script God has given to you, and the professional cameras are not around you, your phone is there for you. You can shoot it there. Follow all these guidelines that I mentioned, and research more, work on yourself, keep trying, keep practicing. All these things I showed you, I kept practicing again and again and again. This is just the tips of the iceberg, because there are quite a number of things that we still do with this. There are quite a number of professional apps that I also have that I use, but I feel that I cannot go ahead to teach us that because it will be confusing, because not everybody can have that, especially when we have iPhone and I'm using Android. So I decided to teach us the one that is just the camera app. You will always find something that looks like that, and those functions on the your user interface, your UI, when you see them, the ISO, you know how to adjust the exposure, you know how to adjust the temperature, and the shutter speed. When you know all that, anywhere you go, whether it's a professional camera or it's on your phone, you can always have something good. The absence of light, you can make use of exterior. You use the natural light. If it is too bright, if you have filter, you can use. And if you don't have filters like I showed you, you can adjust your exposure and the shutter speed, like something like this. You increase, you decrease, and until it gives you a sort of look that is balanced. You can break the rules. You know, I told you about the rules, the 180-degree rules. We break it when we need to break it. And when you do that, you get the result done. So it has been a wonderful time with you, and I do hope that you will have one or two things that you have learned or you have gained. Go ahead and practice. Go ahead and do something. Go ahead, sit down in your house, call your child or your wife or your daughter, shoot something. If your wife is not there, or if you are not married, don't worry. Look for an object, a teddy, put in front of the camera. Try composition, line of symmetry, rule of thirds, all those things. Try to do that and see how it looks. By and by, you get there. Thank you for the privilege given to me. See you next time. God bless you. I remain Olufemi Abraham. Bye.